What up, Culture Corner? This is Sha-Elemental. I'm here with my co-host, Death Over Simplicity. We're back with another episode of Masters of the GamerVerse. Hey, man, what's good with you? How you been?
I've been all right, man. You know, playing some new stuff, going back to some old games. I've been straight. How about you?
Word. I like nostalgia. I'm with it. Can't go wrong with a little retro gaming. Now, let's get right into it. One of the big stories going on right now recently is this Pal World game, whatever you want to call it. You got the game, I believe you said, right? And you've been playing?
Yep, I've been playing. I put a few hours into it, and it's like a little Frankenstein of Pokemon, Fortnite. It's got some, Breath of the Wild type of, it's got the glider similar to that game. But it's pretty fun. You could build your base. You could, it's hard to say it's not ripping off Pokemon, but it's mad fun. You know what I mean? And I played it for a little bit. I had some friends jump into my world, and we were putting together some cool stuff. And it's got like the real-time strategy thing where you could have your pals work on your farm and get your supplies so you could get stone and wood without having to get it yourself. So it's got some cool elements in there from other RPGs, and then the pals are pretty cool. So I'm up to bow and arrow and a spear right now, but I'm trying to get to the Gatling gun. But it's pretty fun so far.
That's dope. Yeah, from what I've seen about it, it's kind of like a mix of like a survival game along with the the Pokemon aspect of trying to catch the monsters and whatnot. But then there's also, like you said, like you can get like I saw a video of one of these pals with a Gatling gun, like straight up like Rambo. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at right now, but this is kind of wild, and I think I dig it. I'm not usually.
It's a cool combination. Anyone that plays RPG is gonna feel at home. Like if it gets, when it turns nighttime, you get cold, so you got to get your fireplace going or get warm enough clothes that you got to get the supplies to build, and then you can build stuff to interact with your pals. Like you can get a saddle. There's a pal that's like a warthog, and then there's another one that's like a alpaca, and you can put it on there, and then you can ride into battle. You know what I mean?
So now this is open world, right?
Yeah.
All right, and it's not like zones or anything. It's like straight up open world. You can go anywhere.
I haven't found any blocks yet, but I haven't explored too far. I've explored a few of the islands like close to the start, but and even then you run into some giant 3-story tall pals that'll destroy you. And I thought they were friendly. I walked away from the game and then I came back and I was laid out. So just pay attention if you're playing. Find a safe area if you want to go get a drink of water or something.
That's crazy. Now, there's been a little bit of controversy surrounding the game because people were like trying to say, oh, they're trying to rip off Pokemon. They're like the monsters have Pokemon-like designs. But to me, from everything I've been hearing from yourself and then everything I've been reading about it, it kind of seems like the game is a mixture of a few different genres and kind of became its own thing. And doesn't really, it has aspects of other games, but I don't think there's really a game you can straight up one-to-one compare to it, at least from what I've been reading, which I think is cool. I kind of like when you take the best of a couple things. Well, I mean, that's why we're into hip-hop, right? We take a few different things, repurpose it, and turn it into something new, and that's kind of, it seems like, from everything I've heard, that's what they did with this game.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, I don't know if you're familiar with RDC World YouTube channel, but they had the best kit on it because the comparisons to actual Pokemon from the pals is just it's really close. But a lot of people are saying Nintendo has shut games like this down in the past, like fan games of Pokemon. So if they had a case, they probably would have gone after it. But Nintendo did put out a statement saying that they're going to investigate. They didn't name Pal World by name, but it's obvious that's who they're talking about. They say they're going to investigate any copyright claims because it's close, man. It's close. There's stuff that looks just like an Eevee, but it is mad fun. I'm enjoying it while it's still here before Nintendo sends their legal goons in.
Yeah, before the Nintendo ninjas come in and chop everybody. They're going to get everybody. But man, yeah, That's been getting a lot of news lately. It's cool though. I like seeing stuff like that. Like I said, I just like seeing something new. It's better than like we were saying before we got on, how people have been really upset about the last few Pokemon games because like the rinse and repeat aspect of it, them not going and back and patching the newest ones on the Switch that run horribly and really shouldn't. If you look at them and see, what graphics they're running on them. I mean, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are more graphically intense than that, and those run beautifully. So there's really no excuse for the state those games came out in. And if I was a Pokemon fan, I'd be kind of upset just because it's like, you're like, oh, look at this other company, doing what you should be doing, innovating and making, a good quality game. And that's not even, the game technically isn't even out yet, Pal World. It's in early access. So kudos to them. And, as long as they don't get sued and shut down, that's a win.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm hoping, as they keep going, they open up the crossplay more, because there's definitely, I do want to play with my people on Steam, but that crossplay would be great. So hopefully they open it up.
Yeah, definitely. I crossplay should just be a thing. If you get your game on multiple consoles, unless we're talking like a PS5 to like Game Boy Advance type of scenario where it's like, back in the day, like, when it was like, oh, you'd get the PS3 version and the PSP version, and they were slightly different, things like that. Unless that's the scenario, nowadays there's no excuse for, doing things like that. It's just shouldn't happen. And in my opinion, the games just shouldn't launch until they're done. I think we've discussed this before. We said that we'd rather a game get delayed and come out and be good than get a rushed game that's not complete or just isn't good yet and ready for, the spotlight. So less of that we get, good, the better. Now, we also had the Sony State of Play last week that came up, and I'm going to start off by giving it my grade. I gave it about a B. I'm not sure where you rank that, but I liked what I saw. I thought it was a good. It was well timed and well needed, I think, because they were kind of, we didn't know much of what was coming from them this upcoming year. Now we know a little bit more, and then hopefully there's still more to come. But I liked the presentation. I thought they showed off some good games. So let's get into that and just get into these games. Stellar Blade. That's something I think you're probably more excited for than I am. You're more of an RPG, Japanese RPG guy than I would be.
Yeah. Stellar Blade looks amazing, and the gameplay looks fun, but the story, it really looks awesome too. It's definitely got a big anime vibe to it. It seems like it's following like a Avatar type of story, like the James Cameron Avatar, where it's like, a person from another world trying to interact with a wider world that doesn't understand them and is hostile to them. So I'm really interested in playing that game, and it looks awesome. That was definitely I didn't hear anything about it until this, and that's probably my favorite of the trailers that came out.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. I think that's a PS5 exclusive, if I'm not mistaken, or at least a timed exclusive, I want to say. And I noticed they did have one, I think they showed it once before, and it looked a little rougher. So they've definitely done some work to it and definitely improved the visuals and everything. It looks a lot smoother and looks pretty good from what I saw. I don't know if it's something that I'm necessarily going to play. I'll probably wait and, kind of see what people's takes on it are. And if it was action-based, right? It wasn't turn-based, if I remember.
Yeah,
So
that's the action-based, and, the enemies look cool. It looked like you had some interesting, attack combinations, and, it looks smooth. The animations look smooth. So that's my type of game. I'm into it.
Yeah, that was definitely cool looking. There was another RPG. I don't think we wrote it down in our notes. It was, give me 1 second. It was started with the same letter, and it was for short form. It was like XXX or something like that. It was the anime, the one that literally looked like an anime live, but it was like an arena combat type thing, I want to say. Look it up real quick, because the animation of it to me just looked phenomenal. That was probably one of the better looking ones, just as far as visual quality, because it really looked like the animation was just jumping off the screen. Excuse me. All right.
But yeah, while you're looking that up, Sonic Generation Shadow is coming through,
Yeah, that looks dope too.
which is dope to see them really push for 2D Sonic the way they're doing. The combination of 3D and 2D that they're going for with Sonic Generations, and Shadow's a fan favorite, so it's good to see him come through and do his thing.
Yeah, definitely. Now, on that, it's just the original game, right? Remastered for the new systems, but they're going to add the Shadow portion of the game, or is it like a whole new game incorporating him into it? I was a little confused about that because they didn't really say explicitly. But what I saw,
I'm not sure. I think the trailer was real short, so it seemed like I thought they were going for like a Sonic and Knuckles type thing. So hopefully it's a brand new game. But I didn't get Sonic Generation, so this will be the one for me to get.
So either way, you're good. I didn't either,
Yeah.
but it does look cool, and I like how they switched perspectives on it. From going from the 2D to the 3D. Where is this? And I just Sonic's been doing pretty good lately, I think, game-wise. Like, he hasn't, for a while there, we were getting a lot of bad Sonic games, like, probably for, like, almost 15 years, I want to say. So it's nice to see that, Sonic's getting the attention he deserves and being treated, like a Mario, like how he should be treated. He's one of the gaming, like, icons as far as characters are concerned. So I was kind of, during those lean years, I was a little disappointed, I'm not going to lie. So it's really good to see, Sonic getting treated like the major character that he is. I mean, he's getting these movies, which at this point are pretty much holding Paramount up, I guess. Seems like they might get bought soon by somebody, which is crazy to think how this keeps happening with all these large corporations, but that's a whole different discussion. I'm looking forward to the game. I can't wait to check it out. I've never actually played a lot of Shadow anything, so this will kind of be my introduction to him, really, other than like what I saw in the cartoon. And I know he's going to be in a new movie, so it should be dope. I'm looking forward to it. I just like seeing Sega win because I was a Genesis fan, so anytime they can get a W, works for me.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you gotta use some chaos control, which is his like time stopping power. He's pretty dope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I want to mention Dragon's Dogma. So this is I went back because this trailer was so good. I was like, this is what no, I can't really say it's what I would want like from a Lord of the Rings game, but it just looked awesome. It's exactly what I would want from fighting dragons in a medieval setting. The spells looked amazing. And I went back and the first Dragon's Dogma it's not, it looks rough for today's standards, but it just doesn't look like the type of game that I would play. But this one, I'm gonna have to pick it up because it looks like The Witcher on steroids, it just looked really, really cool, and it has the perfect it seemed like the perfect balance between action and mystical elements.
Yeah, it looks dope. I played probably maybe 5 to 10 hours of the first one. I got it on PS3, and like you said, it's a little rough around the edges. It's that generation though, the PS3 360 generation. Those games do look rough around the edges, like literally around the edges, kind of now. But gameplay wise and everything, they hold up pretty well. But yeah, what I found really cool about it is most of the time when you're in one of these type of action RPGs and you're like fighting a dragon or something, you're either like shooting an arrow at them from really far away, or you're just like running up and hacking at calves. You know what I mean? You're not really like interacting with it as if it was like a real world thing. And what I like about these games is when you go to attack the dragon, like you run up on them and literally run up on them and grab them by the neck and just start like stabbing them in the neck and stuff. Like it just adds like a cool bit of like real worldness to it that you don't see in a lot of games because everything's so like gamified.
Yeah, I think God of War has the best dragon fighting, like from a hand-to-hand perspective, definitely, in any game so far. And this seemed on par with that, and it just looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks like it's gonna be dope. I want to say the first one's at least like I think it's like 70 to 100 hours long, so if we can get something like that out of this, that'll be dope. Even longer. I'm a fan. If you're gonna tell a great story, I'm there for however many hours you want to give me. Just make sure you nail the landing and the ending, and we're good. Like Mass Effect, a lot of people hated the ending to that, but I didn't mind it. I also didn't play the third one until they patched out the original ending, though. So
Yeah, me too. But that's like egregious. That was so bad that fans made them create. I think it was 2 or 3 more options for the ending. It was crazy. So
yeah,
that's people can look to that for what not to do. But even then, I think they should have just. I'm big on creators standing by their decisions. Like, I'm a fan as well, but it's like they put it down. This is what you get.
yeah,
So
definitely. I can agree with that too. Like I'm sure with music, I don't know if you're like me. I'm a stubborn bastard when it comes to certain things, and like when I have my artistic vision, like that's what I want, and I'm not really gonna budge off that. And if you don't want to do that, all right, cool. We'll work on something else. But I'm still doing this over here. This is what I'm doing with this. So like I can see that, especially with games and movies. I noticed like what we saw with the whole DC universe like thing with Warner Brothers, and how like they kept like trying to tell the directors of the movies how to make the movies, and do this, make it funnier, this, that, or the third. And then when studios come in, they're like, oh, this idea is great, but we got to put some loot boxes in here and do this or that ends up ruining the game or the movie. I don't understand why people still do these things. Like, what do you think the hit percentage is? It's like 20% of the time that person's right, and the rest, it just goes to crap. So I really don't understand why these companies keep making these same mistakes over and over and over again. It just blows my mind. It's like, if it works, it works.
Yeah, it's tough when the creatives don't have final say in what comes out. But hey, we got to deal with that. But another game that was really interesting was Rise of the Ronin.
Yeah,
that one is that's right up my alley. I'm a huge fan of Tenchu, which was a stealth game that was coming out in the PS2 era, and FromSoft actually made that. And this new game, another FromSoft game is, people know them for Dark Souls, but Sekiro was their like ninja. It was basically their spiritual successor to Tenchu, where you're running around, you're a samurai. Well, you're more of a ninja, and a lot of stealth elements, heavy on the parry gameplay, very difficult. But it seems like a mix between Sekiro, Ghost of Tsushima, and Assassin's Creed, because you got a lot of climbing going on, and it just I'm into that era.
Also
that
a little
setting.
Just
You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's actually most games like Ghost of Tsushima, it's like somewhere around the Sengoku era where it's like samurais are around. Now it's like you're in a more modern Japan, so it's gonna give some interesting things where the Western influence is there. There's brick buildings, there's different architecture for you to deal with, and it looks great.
Yeah, it definitely does. If it can be half as good as Ghost of Tsushima, I'll probably be happy with it. I absolutely love that game. Can't wait for a sequel. But yeah, man, this game looks dope. I saw, like you said, I saw a little Assassin's Creed in it. I saw a little Just Cause with the grappling hook, and how like you would use the grappling hook to get you speed up to do your gliding and stuff like that. Like the game looked cool. The traversal.
That was a big grappling hook's a big thing in Sekiro too. And it's made by Team Ninja, who made Ninja Gaiden. So, people like me, fans that have been dying for another Ninja Gaiden game, this might be, gonna satiate us for now. You know what I mean? Hopefully this does well and they can make another one, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of elements in there that we could enjoy. And I'm really hoping, like I know, because of the era, he's probably not gonna be in it, but if they could bring Ryu Hayabusa in there somewhere, like maybe mention an ancestor or something, or just put him in there. I want that kind of Easter egg.
Yeah, or like a diary or something you find of his, or something like they'll have something in the game like that. I'm sure they will. You got to. How could you not? Man.
Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna play it, and I'll be looking out for those kind of Easter eggs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, how long has it been since Ninja Gaiden? What was the last one? 3, Razor's Edge? That came out like that was like the mid-teens, I want to say.
Yes, it's been a minute. That was.
We
don't talk about Ninja Gaiden 3 though. That was some.
I was just gonna say, see, there it is. I thought it was gonna happen. we also had that game Judas. Now, to me, the first thing I thought when I saw this game was I literally thought it was a BioShock game. I was like, oh, they're doing another BioShock? And then it was like, oh, no. But it is the guy who created BioShock and worked on
Yeah,
the original.
it's the whole style of BioShock. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised if there was some mention of Rapture in there. You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it, man. I think the writing, if the writing is as good as BioShock, 1 through 3, I'm down for it. And I'm interested. The setting looks very similar, so I'm into it.
Yeah.
I don't know where the story is going. I don't know anything about the main protagonist, but I'm into it. BioShock is such a good series, and I hold it very high. So I'm gonna follow where that direction is going.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely was screaming BioShock to me. Did you ever try Atomic Heart? That also had strong BioShock vibes to it as well. That was on Game Pass for a while. I don't know if it still is, but it was an early next-gen game. But something to check out if you need something to play. But yeah, man, I'm excited for that one too, because BioShock games, their atmosphere is just like, you like feel like you're there, and like I just love games that nail atmosphere, because I feel like that type of stuff is what really draws you into the game and gets a reaction out of you. Kind of puts you in it, and that's the thing I love about video games, because like a movie you're watching and you're just a passive participant, but with a game you're like in it. You know what I mean? Like you're there, you're the one controlling it. It's a beautiful thing. Definitely. To me, it like gets you so much more involved in story when you're the one controlling it. It's just like the beauty of video games. What else do we have?
It's tough to explain, but you get those story beats that happen in a movie, whether it's a character dies or you reaching your destination, hit a lot different when you're the one trudging through this area or slaying tons of enemies to get there.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of which, have you tried the Silent Hill? Was it the short message?
Nah, I'm all set, bro. I'm all set.
Yeah?
Like it looks great, but Silent Hill scared the shit out of me as a kid.
Oh,
Silent Hill 1 and 2, you know what I'm saying? I had a cousin who played nothing but fighting games and horror games. That's it. No NBA Live, no nothing else. So if I got tired of playing Dead or Alive, shout out Team Ninja again.
Yeah.
I was gonna watch some scary shit, Resident Evil 2, Silent Hill 2. But this one looks terrifying, dog. It gave me flashbacks. It looks great for everyone that's fan of it. I know you're into it, but I'm good. I'm all set.
Yeah, I played about 45 minutes of the short message, the free one that they put out the other day after the state of play. It's definitely interesting. I wasn't a little creeped out. I wasn't a ton scared, but I'm also kind of conditioned after decades of watching horror and playing horror games. But yeah, definitely creepy. And if anybody's sensitive to like the subject of suicide and stuff like that, it might be something you want to avoid, because it is a main part of like the story. Which I like things like that. It's not exploiting suicide or anything like that, but I just like the exploration of subjects like that, if done tastefully. And so far in the game, it's cool. It makes me want to play more. I guess it's only an hour and a half long, so I don't have much more to play. So it's kind of cool in that way that it's a contained short story, which I think people should do more of that.
What was the name of that short one that was supposed to be? It was supposed to be a Silent Hill that Hideo Kojima was making. PC. Yo, PT. Yo, yeah. I played that. That scared the shit out of me. For sure.
And this new one is it seems like they took that as inspiration for this.
Word. All right. Like I'm gonna stay away. Yo, PT scared the shit out of me, dog. Oh man.
Yeah, this will probably get you too then. And then obviously they showed that, and then they showed the Silent Hill 2 remake, which I gotta be honest, it looks a little rough around the edges, but they got time to fix all that. The combat looked a little janky. But then again, Silent Hill was never known for combat either.
It's janky on purpose, man. It's janky. It's anxiety inducing. If it was smooth, I would probably play those games. That's why Resident Evil didn't really like. Once 4 hit, that's when I was like, all right, I could survive because I feel like I can make it. But before that, and Silent Hill. What's the one with the camera? Something. Fatal Frame. You know what I'm saying? These games are designed to mess you up. You know what I mean? If it was as smooth as your average shooter, it wouldn't be as scary. And that's why I was able to play Condemned. Condemned is a scary ass game. It's about following serial killers, but the gameplay is smooth like any other first person shooter. So you feel like you can make it versus Silent Hill. You're fighting with the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then you always got like hardly any ammo to fight all these things, but that's half the fun. I just get mad when I'm playing Resident Evil and I forget to keep a couple game saves, and then I get to that point where I'm at a boss and I don't have enough ammo to do anything except die, and I'm screwed and have to start the whole game over again. Ugh.
Work.
Tragic moments.
Yeah. I don't know. The trailer looked crazy, man. The twitching on these enemies were
The nurse lady.
Man. Yeah, dog.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. A lot of people are like all gloom and doom about it already. I'm like, this is the first thing you've seen of the game. Like, it's early. So like another year before the game comes out. Like, everybody's just so quick to complain.
Yeah, our producer is saying they should make a AR Fatal Frame game, and if you're down for that,
it's dope.
I'm good. I'm good with that.
Great use of the technology though. That would work perfectly.
Hard. Yeah. Listen. All those virtual. I know Resident Evil did the virtual reality version, and not for me.
I tried. Was it 7? 7. I tried that on PSVR, the first one, and I'm sensitive to VR, so like I can't really play it for long without feeling like crap. But like I just did it.
You're in the house, right? With the crazy people. Yeah.
Yo, like I don't even want to think about like when they get that stuff like you're actually there basically, and you can see your hands and arms and like use everything right in the future. Like I'm all set at that point. Like nah, I'm good. That's just gonna be too much because playing that even I was like this is creepy. Like what the? I'm like I know this is fake. Already beat this part of the game, but
you're not trying to dap up Pyramid Head in VR.
Nah, nope. I'm good. You're gonna have to wear a diaper while playing those games.
Yeah.
And not because you're playing so long either. Bad news. Now,
how you feeling about this Death Stranding trailer?
That's what I was gonna go to next. So like we were saying, I didn't even play the first one, but that trailer was really dope and kind of got me really intrigued to just want to know what is going on.
Listen, it's gonna be a while for it to come out, and in that time, I'm definitely picking up the first one. And man, that was the best advertisement for part 1 I ever seen. That was amazing. And all the advertisements, all the trailers for the first one were crazy, but this one was just next level. Like I want to know why, in certain scenes they have no color. You know what I mean? Why they look like ghosts, and then they don't look like ghosts. And I want to know, like, I still don't know what's up with carrying a baby. I gotta know these things. I want to know what the bad blood is between Norman Reedus and this crazy guitar playing dude.
Yeah, the game looks wild.
Devil May Cry guitar that he's shooting robots with.
For real. Hideo Kojima, man, that guy, he's got an imagination. Just based on what I've experienced in the Metal Gear franchise, like this stuff seems even more weird than that got at times. So I'm definitely going to go back and play the first one. Probably, I mean, it's super cheap now too. You probably get it for like $20, probably cheaper in some cases. So it's worth it. The negatives I've heard basically was that it was you pretty much you were a delivery guy.
Listen, I gotta know. I'll deliver some stuff to know what's going on. It's like
the world looks good too. Like it, just everything looks expertly crafted that I saw on screen. Like it didn't look like.
I think Kojima is one of the guys that he pushes his vision forward. You know, there's not a lot of people like that. Like I think Cory Balrog, if I'm saying it right, from the newer God of War, starting with God of War 2018, he's become one of those guys where it's like they're pushing their vision, but Kojima, he's like, in anime, Miyazaki is one of those guys, where they're pushing their vision out in a way that it's not just about numbers. It's proving to anyone that looks at it like, no, this is an art form, and there's a cohesive, maybe not a cohesive story because it's all over the place sometimes, but there's definitely a vision that's being pushed forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's definitely in the video game space. He's one of the preeminent people like that. I mean, that kind of goes into the next subject. Obviously, you saw that he's working on a new Sony exclusive, but it's going to be tactical espionage action, just like Metal Gear. So basically, it sounds like since he can't make more Metal Gears, he's going to create his own Metal Gear type game, which I'm there for because I absolutely love that series. I know he has nothing to do with the remake of Part 3 that's coming out, and then the rumored remakes that are coming after that, but I'll probably grab those too because they're classics. But yeah, man, anything Kojima is working on, I'm definitely in for that. He's got that tactical espionage action game he's working on for Sony. He just announced, but I'm thinking he said that's not going to start really working on that until they're done Death Stranding 2. So that might even end up being a PS6 game for all we know. And then he's also got an exclusive he's working on with Xbox. Can't think of the name of it right now. I think it's called Overdose actually, and he's going to be using the cloud somehow with that game. He hasn't really explained much, and they haven't shown anything of it, but it could be interesting. The guy he thinks differently about stuff than most people do. So I'm just excited to see anything he's going to do and see what he comes up with, because the guy most of the time hits it out of the park in my eyes.
Yeah, he's got the clout behind it. You know what I mean? He's got a track record of some great things, and I like that. When he's involved with a project, I think it gives, he gets more green lights than people.
Absolutely,
otherwise would, which is dope because he's got some great ideas. So, I'm interested in more stealth. I feel like there hasn't been enough stealth games. You know what I mean? There used to be like competition. There used to be
we used to get
Splinter Cell coming out. But I'm down for more Metal Gear like games.
Yeah, for sure. What was Sony's similar to that? Siphon Filter. I want a new Siphon Filter. When are they going to bring that back?
Dang, I haven't heard that in a minute.
Right?
But I am, even though he's not involved, I'm super hyped for Snake Eater 3 remake. I think that's the best Metal Gear. That's the one I would point anyone to play if they've never played it. And yeah, I'm super excited. And it's the best. I think it's the best place to start because of where it fits in the story too.
Yeah, because that's like it goes
like prequel.
Then 1, then 2, then 4. But then Peace Walker happens either before or after 3, I forget. Yeah, so it's kind of all over the place in the storyline. But yeah, man, I would say 3 or 4 would be my favorites. It's kind of hard for me to choose, but I'm kind of leaning 3. I would say Snake Eater is probably the best one, story-wise and everything, definitely. And I like how it, after playing the original one, I played the Twin Snakes version actually first, believe it or not, which is the GameCube remake of the first one, which is dope. They really need to port that over to something or just completely remake the first one. That's what I want to see. Is a ground up, do that one after 3. That would be fire. Because that's like when you go back, even playing the Snake Eater version, it's still the Snake Eater version looks like Part 2 basically graphically. So it wasn't that huge of a step up.
It looked a little better. I think you're downplaying
a little bit because
the graphical ability. It was like astounding at the time. People were tripping about how the grass was moving, and it's just it's hard to put that in perspective now unless you go back and read those articles. But it was a step up back then. and there was so much going on. You know what I mean? Like snakes moving around that you could catch and eat, and
Yeah.
you know, adding those little RPG elements, and then getting all the different ghillie suits, and just getting your inventory together was a big part of it.
You got to have your cardboard box,
All day, can't survive the jungle without a cardboard box.
right? Because why would that stick out in the jungle?
You're never out of place with the cardboard box. Ask your favorite b-boy or b-girl.
It's true though. I mean, you literally see a cardboard box anywhere. Maybe not the jungles of Liberia, but whatever. If that even where that took place, because I don't even remember. But
yeah, I gotta find that out.
Ooh. Now, the next thing I want to get into, we haven't discussed this yet at all. So there's been some reports that Sony is actually working on a new handheld, not a PlayStation Portal type handheld, a straight up full on handheld that is rumored to be it'll be able to play PS4 and PS5 games. The PS5 games will need to be patched, kind of like what they did with the PS4 Pro, where they gave it like a little bit of a boost in the patch. In this case, I think though they'll probably be downgrading it a little bit from the main system, because most likely I don't know if they're going to do a 4K handheld. I think they might, if they're going to do this, maybe start with a 1080p screen, 1080p LCD, but make it look really good, just to keep costs down. But basically, from what the reports are saying, is it'll be able to play PS4 and PS5 games. Now, to me, if that is true, and you're able to just take the library you already own for PS4 and PS5 games digitally and just straight up download them right to it, like, to me, they could roll something out like that, like with a mid-gen refresh, or even with the PS6, and just be like, hey, all your old games, you have them right here on the go. Because, I mean, and they could make new games for it too, just have them a little underpowered. I mean, Nintendo's been doing it. They've been succeeding, having the not most powerful system. So to me, I think that's just proven that you don't need the handheld to have the same like specs and have HDR and ray tracing and all that type of stuff. It's not really necessary in a handheld scenario, and you can kind of get away with not having those things, and still people will be happy. So I'm very curious to see what happens with this. I'm all for it. I love my PlayStation Vita. I still to this day play that machine. So I have no worries about the quality of the device or anything like that. To me, it's just basically, are you going to let us use a regular SD card? And is it going to be affordable? And will we be able to play our digital games we already own? If they can nail those three things, I'm all over it.
Yep, that'd be dope. I'm not the biggest handheld guy, but Sony's already done it, so it'll be great for people to take these games on the go. And I definitely got to mention the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth demo just dropped today. So if you're on PS5, you could cop that. And
yeah, you better. Yeah, that's looking phenomenal. Actually, think about it. They just had the State of Play today, all about that. So we'll have to check that out. I'll probably watch that tomorrow. And we'll get into that a little bit next time too. I'm super excited for that game. I still need to finish the original one, but man, that game, like even the first one, still when I play it, I'm like amazed at how good it looks. And I was playing that on the PS4 Pro. I wasn't even playing it on my PS5, and I was still like, wow, this is amazing. Just took a tiny bit longer to load. But
yeah, I gotta finally. It's like I didn't see The Godfather, like the first three, for like a long time, and that's how it feels with games with Final Fantasy VII. It's like you still haven't beat it. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think I need to cop the remake and get into it finally.
Yeah. I always enjoyed just like the original. I don't like turn-based, but I would sit there and watch somebody play that game for hours. I wouldn't want to play it, but I watched somebody play it. The cutscenes in that were amazing. The battle when they'd get in the groove was cool to watch. I just didn't want to do it. But yeah, man, the story in that game is amazing. So it's really cool to see it like updated for the times.
Yeah,
and the battle.
It's such a classic that I know the story beats. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I know what's gonna happen, but I still need to experience it for myself. So I think maybe this year is gonna be, I'm gonna finally join in and not be that guy that hasn't beat Final Fantasy VII.
I'm right there with you, but eventually I'll get there. I'll just do it on the remake. Whatever. It's the job done. All right.
Yeah.
So,
But as we close out, what are you playing right now, and what do you recommend for the people who play right now?
honestly, I'm pretty much playing the same stuff. I'm been playing a lot of NHL lately. Just trying to close out God of War. Matter of fact, God of War Ragnarok. I'm on this guy. I'm so stuck right now. This has been like infuriating. I can't think of the name. He like comes out of the ground. He's like a fire dude, and he's like the
Talking about
something.
Surtur?
No, oh God, I'm in like the snow. It's gonna the second we end this podcast, it's gonna hit me. But this dude is hard as hell. He's like fire based, and he does like this thing. And if you're too close, he catches you on fire. He
Oh,
throws.
he got the double axes.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. There's a few of those. There's that.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I've beaten him for
if
like one or two before, but the one I'm on now, God, man. And this last time I started playing, I got him like that close, and he got me right at the last second. And I must have sat there for like an hour and a half, and I didn't come nearly as close as I did that first time. And I was just like, God damn it. And I walked away because I was just mad.
Yeah. No, that those enemies got me for real. And I was, oh man, yeah, I was screaming at the TV on that one. But I made it through. All right. I was victorious, and you will be too, you know. But yeah, I've been playing I have been playing Dead Cells still, you know, been playing the Castlevania DLC, and you know, they just, you know, they gotta stop. They gotta stop adding stuff, because I'm not gonna stop playing it. You know, I love that game, and you know, it's super fun. You know, they added like this giant comb from the there's a tailor where you could change your clothes in the game, and they added a giant comb that you could just destroy enemies with. It's hilarious. And they did announce that they're actually making a animated show for Dead Cells. So yeah, props to them. I'm gonna be watching that, and I hope it does well so we could just get more Dead Cells. And I also, you know, if you see the background behind me is the world of Sifu. So Sifu is a martial arts game where you're doing kung fu, and the story is, you know, straightforward. Like your master gets killed, and then you're trying to get revenge for your master. So at the beginning of the game, you're like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years old, and then you know, you do all your training to get revenge, and you're about 20 years old, and then you go through the world just whooping ass. You know what I mean? And you know, first level, there's a nod to Old Boy. If anyone's a fan of that flick, the hallway scene, you get to play the hallway scene and just whoop everybody's ass in there, and you're just going to different areas. So if you see the city behind me, there's like, you know, you go to the slums, you go to the club, you go, you know, to the corporate building, and you're just fighting through waves and waves of enemies to reach the boss who worked for the person that killed your master. And you know, the parry window is very, very short. It's a really difficult game, but it's a lot of fun. But definitely recommend anyone picking up Sifu.
Yeah, I heard great things about that game. I watched a couple of videos of it, and it looks pretty cool. Now, before we get out of here, I did want to touch. We had a lot of Xbox stuff to cover, but I think with the news today that they're going to be moving up the I don't know what they're calling it, but this press conference or whatever, where they're going to go over their business strategy. I figure real quick before we head out of here, I just wanted to get your thoughts on what's been going on there. So just for anybody who's not aware, there's been quite the uproar online with rumors that Microsoft Xbox Studios is going to be going third party with certain games. The names that have been thrown around would be Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Starfield coming over, Indiana Jones. From Indiana Jones, what I've heard so far is that it'll be a timed exclusive on Xbox, but it will come later to the PlayStation 5. Also, rumors of Gears of War coming over at some point. I've even heard rumblings of potential for like Halo Infinity, maybe. That more from a fan perspective, because if you think about it, that's more of a live service game as far as the online aspect is concerned. So if they really wanted to, you know, juice that community, they could add that to PS5 and have that one just to kind of give Halo a shot in the arm. That one seems the most far-fetched just because that's like their number one, like, property. But honestly, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised. And the fact that when this all got out, Phil Spencer, instead of just denying it all, said, "Oh, well, we're going to have a press conference or whatever they're calling it in a couple of days. We'll explain our strategy." Makes me think that a lot of what we're hearing may be true. Now, from my perspective, I'm okay with that. I own an Xbox Series S, and I got to be honest, I don't really use it much at all, unless I want to play AEW Fight Forever, because that just happens to be where I have that game. I just personally haven't had a lot of reasons to play Xbox, because any of the third-party games I want to play are on my PS5 as well, and that's kind of my main system. So to me, if they go that strategy, that works for me, because now I can just have my whole library on one system moving forward. But I do kind of feel like I feel sad for Xbox fans in a way, because then what is the point of owning an Xbox if all their best games are going to be everywhere else too? It just seems
controller and UI, man. I think
yeah.
as an Xbox guy, I think the UI, I enjoy it. It's easy to navigate, and the controller, I like it better. You know what I mean? And I enjoy PlayStation 2. That's what that's the only way I could play God of War and stuff. But I enjoy it for those things. So I would say that. But I think every I hope it's a direction that more studios take. I hope they're leading the charge and making things more accessible.
Yeah,
so
which
then
I do like that.
So hopefully there won't be, it'll be, kind of superficial things like that, where it's like you just like the UI better on PlayStation.
Yeah.
You like, and it really won't be a difference in the games. Because if we had all the games, then it would just,
Right.
come down to UI and controller. You know what I mean?
Yeah. My worry with that, though, is if they don't have the games to kind of push people there, a lot of people are probably going to opt to not get the Xbox because of that, which is kind of worrisome in a way for the system itself. But from the way I see it and the way they've been talking for the last few years, I mean, they've been talking about they just want a streaming future anyway, where you can, like you said, it's accessible on anything, and you can just play your game wherever you feel like it. So to me, it would make sense for them to do this, and I would expect maybe we'll get one more generation of actual set-top box. But there's small chance we don't even get a next-gen Xbox if they figure out a way to do what they want to do sooner. However, I'm thinking we probably get one more, and then that's probably the end of actually having a set box. And then from there, everything's just going to be like digital.
Yeah, they could easily switch over to just being PC focused for their games.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is unfortunate. I think a lot of people like having a dedicated system. So, I mean, if it goes down in flames, I guess I'll be a PlayStation only guy. But
well, the weird thing is, will it really be in flames? Because it's like they're doing it to themselves, and they're really making the pivot because they want more profit. So if it equals more profit and the company is doing better, maybe it's not a bad thing in the end.
Yeah, I mean, I think just bad for people that enjoy having an Xbox.
Right, yeah.
It wouldn't be
yeah, and more competition
wouldn't be great for us. Yeah,
because that's where most innovation comes from, is the need to innovate. Because I mean, we've seen how things happen when there's only one option. I'm a big wrestling fan, but I can tell you right now, when WWE was the only like major wrestling you could see on TV and everything, was its worst, most boring times, because they didn't feel the need to try harder, and they just stuck with what worked. And I'd hate to see that cross over into video games. Something like that could, I mean, if something like that happens and the quality in games goes down, that could be bad for everybody.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I definitely want to, honorable mention. We'll definitely talk about this next show. But Tekken 8 dropped in between our last show, and I've been playing it. Our producer has been playing it. Yeah, we'll talk about some of the new characters, some of our favorites, and we're definitely gonna set up some fighting game streams. So any game that's online, whether it's Smash Bros, Tekken, Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. We're definitely gonna set up some streaming nights for us to get together and play these games. You know.
Oh yeah, so you might get a chance to whoop. Well, you're definitely gonna whoop my ass because I suck at those games. But I got a shot in Tekken a little bit. But
there's no Eddie Gordo. You got no shot. Eddie's out of here. All right?
Oh no, that's my weakness is Eddie Gordo. So
no button mash.
I'll do better. He's the thorn in my side, that Capuana ass motherfucker. But anyway, only the strong. And Eddie Gordo was very strong. He had strong forearms. That's how he
beast, man.
That's how he does all that.
Yeah, and definitely before we go, you know, mention you know your album that just dropped, so people can check that out.
Thank you. Yes, so just dropped an album with my man Bofat, doing all the beats and production. He actually mixed and mastered it too. International Dastardly, that's available on all DSPs. It's not available on my Bandcamp. Sha-Elemental, you can find me on Bandcamp. It's the only album I got up there right now, but I'll be adding some older stuff. So available for purchase $10. I'd really appreciate the support. But even if you can just go out there and stream it 1,000,000 times on your phone so I can get like 35 cents back on that, I would really appreciate it. But yeah, go check out the album. Some of my best work, in my humble opinion.
Is that also available on DSPs?
Yeah, it's on all the DSPs, whether you're on YouTube Music, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Orange Music, Watermelon Music, whatever music you're on, it's there. Tidal too, minus the wave. But yeah, man, the album's out. Go check that out. You know, hit me up, let me know what y'all think. What about yourself? You got anything going on right now?
Yeah, I got some beat shows coming up. So I'm gonna be playing in Fitchburg, Beats on the Leap, February 29th. So that's going to be going down with a bunch of Fitchburg producers, including AV8, who's really dope. And then March, I'm going to be playing in Portland, Maine. First time playing out there, March 6th at Stereo Dreams, run by my guy Graphic Melee. So yeah, more on the beat tip, and then I'm gonna get back to rhyming. I got a bunch of music done, but I'm gonna hold off on you know what that is.
Word. Portland's a good time too, so have some fun out there. You actually reminded me too. February 16th, catch me out in Brooklyn for the Bad Seeds birthday show. Cool Table Volume 3, I want to say. I believe that's right.
Yeah, we did that last year. That's what's up.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. You were on one of those too. Yeah, so that'll be a good time. Catch me out in Brooklyn rocking. Gonna tear that bitch down. And I think for this week we good to go. We'll hit you guys back next time with some more ish. We'll get into some Tekken 8, get into some more Xbox news, and then by then we'll probably have more information from this press conference or whatever they're doing. Yeah, man, we appreciate you checking us out and always messing with us, and I'll let you sign off.
Yeah, this is Masters of the GamerVerse. I'm DOS. That was Sha-Elemental. Peace.
Peace, y'all.